What up, y'all? It's your boy Knight2727, and these are my 3DS reviews.
What up, y'all? It's your boy Knight2727, and this is my review for WWE All-Stars. If you smell what The Rock is cooking. Sorry. The Rock's in the game. Alright, fine. Okay, so anyway, WWE All-Stars is a different kind of wrestling game. It's not exactly what you would think out of, after seeing SmackDown vs. Raw and the new WWE 12. Now, what makes me mad is that WWE 12 is actually on the Wii, and they could have ported the Wii version over to the 3DS in 3D, but they didn't. Instead, on the same day the WWE 12 came out, we get this. WWE All-Stars, the high-flying wrestling game where people can defy gravity and fly. Is it good? Is it bad? I don't know, but probably just got 5 points just because The Rock made it on the cover. So, that's 5 points extra. Alright, you know how I get in my reviews. Let's start it off. Okay, now, for my scoring system, we have a maximum of 10 points for each category. We've started off with graphics, work our way into gameplay. Then we take a listen to the sound, and then we see what keeps us coming back to the game as the replay value. From there, we go into my scoring system. 40 points gets you an A, 35 gets you a B, 30 gets you a C, 25 gets you a D, 20 gets you an F. Anything below isn't worth the money. Right now, we'll be getting into WWE 12, looking at all the aspects to make this a good game or a bad game. I think I gave it a fair score. I actually love wrestling games, so if it doesn't get a 40 out of 40, then you know I actually gave it a real score. Alright, let's get into it. Now, we'll be taking a look at WWE All-Stars, and let's break it down to the graphics. As we see right now, we have the display. First of all, just looking at it, right away you notice that you see John Cena, and you see John Cena, his video playing in the background, but The Rock's music's playing. So some little stuff like that may seem a little weird, but let's let it pass. Now, graphics. You have a lot of character models. These are all the characters that you have in the game. Now, from the console version, you have every character that's from the DLC, from the consoles, in this already for free. No extra cost. Big points. Now, some of the character models, like as you see Bret Hart, they look good, but then other models don't. You see it varies from colors, that some people just don't look as good. As The Rock looks a little bit faded and doesn't have as much color as somebody like Macho Man Randy Savage would, or the Ultimate Warrior, which is one of the most suppressive character models. So graphics do look like their real life counterparts, and we're expected for them to look, over the top buff, but it doesn't make sense in the lack of quality when you change the superstar to superstar. As you see, Randy Orton is one of the top superstars, and you see, his tattoos are faded, and they don't really look too appealing. So, for a quick example, we'll start a quick match. Of course, we'll be playing as The Rock, and taking on his arch nemesis, Stone Cold Steve Austin. Now, as we start a match, as you see, like I said, these character models are a little bit faded looking. They look gray, they look a little lifeless, and it's not that impressive. Now, for the first time seeing a wrestling game in 3D, it did look pretty good, and it gives you a sense of depth. Now, it doesn't really matter for this game because it's so wild and over the top, but, when it comes down to slight little judgment, am I close enough to execute a grapple, it can help you with the 3D as it's on. Now, as it off, as I'm playing now, it looks fine, but like I said, some of the character models are faded, and they just don't look as good as they should be. Graphics resemble the PSP version of this game very much. The crowd is very lifeless. It doesn't, they're not in 3D or anything, they're just 2D animations going over in cycles. As you can see, I get closer to the crowd. Looks like Super Nintendo characters. The little flashing lights is not bad, but I guess in a way it draws your eyes to the superstars more.
When you go outside, it zooms into the character models and it looks a lot better, but it's still not great, you know, it's just okay. So the graphics aren't horrible, but they aren't great. They look like their real life counterparts, and that's pretty much all you need in a wrestling game. But you know, they could have took a little more time, even though the game was very late to begin with. So they really didn't have an excuse for how bad character models look, judging on, you know, they had an extra 4 to 6 months time. So for graphics, I will give it a 7. Okay. Alright, now let's take a quick look at gameplay. Now, as you see, you know it's an over-the-top wrestling game. But there's some characters, maybe like the grapplers, you have brawlers, you have the big men, you have grapplers, and you have your high flyers. Now The Rock is a brawler. So a lot of his stuff isn't as over the top. As you see, I'm not flying in the air. So there's actually ways that you can play the game without being over exaggerated and just have a normal wrestling match, but just the characters look crazy. Now, it works like your average game. You have your analog stick to walk, your circle pad. To grapple, it would be the B button. Hit it again, you can do a slam. Now, once you're within a grapple, you can hit any of Y, X, or A to do different kinds of, you know, moves. Now, if you grapple somebody and hit the R button, you can Irish whip. And your L button would be to counter. Now the counters are very crucial, and I mean down to a split second. For this to be a kid game, you know, this isn't like the real simulators like SmackDown vs. Raw. For this to be made for the kids, it is way too hard to counter, and it's very crucial. Now, the D-pad lets you counter strikes. As you see, he'll flinch if I press it. Some of the stuff is mapped to the touchscreen, as if I hit the star to get out of the ring, and hit the star again to get back in. Also, if I hit the character's face on the touchscreen, I can do a taunt. Now, Y and B will be to do my signature moves, which are very exaggerated and fly in the air, as are on Spine Buster. Let's see here. The Rock also has a spinning fisherman suplex. And with the 3D, those kind of things look nice, and it seems like they took an extra bit. Let's try the finisher. The toss and the most electrifying move next to the people's elbow, the rock bottom. Now, what makes this game weird is that it doesn't follow necessary rules to your average wrestling match. Now, an average match, if I go out the ring and get a chair, for example, and I smack Austin in the head with it, I'll get disqualified. So if I hit him, I get a warning. It's kind of dumb. Your submissions in this game do not work. You cannot submit people, and most of your matches will be won by KO and very rarely ever pinfall. Altogether, it's not a bad game. It's something arcadey, and it's not meant to be taken seriously. But there are flaws, there's glitches, and you know, there's a crucial timing. A lot of characters feel the same. They don't have a real sense of individuality. If anybody's ever played the wrestling game TNA Wrestling Impact for the Xbox 360 or PS3, it is the same exact game engine pulled from that with WWE characters over top of it. So it's a game we've already seen before, stolen and just copied over. But as for the gameplay goes, I have to give it a 7. It's not good, it's not great, it's very average, and it could be better.
We're not sure what's going on here, but the match has really slowed down. Spinebuster, now that was a thing of beauty. Okay, folks, that was no joke. Not sitting off balance. Wasn't expecting that one. What a blow. Gosh, remember the confrontations between Mr. McMahon and Stone. If somebody please explain to this old bogey what just happened? I guess there's something to be said for repetition and persistence. We've seen that a few times already.
Alright, now I just gave you a little bit of the sound. I mean, the commentary is pretty good. It's a little stale. I mean, sometimes they announce the wrong things or go on a ramble about stuff that doesn't even happen. But in the Path to Champions, they actually have the wrestlers do voiceovers. And here's an example.
Hi. Allow us to introduce ourselves. We're D-Generation X, which you already know unless you've been living under a rock for the last... Shh. Sean, sorry. Triple H, the Game, the King of Kings. Shawn Michaels, the Icon, the Showstopper, the Main Event, Mr. Too much? Maybe just... Sorry. Anyway, as the greatest tag team in WWE history, the best ever, we're here to stake our claim to the WWE Tag Team Championship. So that's why we're here. Of course, Sean. We're right here in the new WWE video game from THQ. And if you're not down with that, we have 2 words for you.
Alright, now let's look at the replay value. Now, the replay value, it's a wrestling game, so a lot of them have a good replay value. I mean, the fact that The Rock is sitting right there, it already gets like 6 points right there. Now, when you start, you have your Expedition. Now, within that, you have standard matches, you know, your one-on-one. You have your Tornado Tag Team matches. There's no traditional tag team matches where you tag your partner, so forget about that. Your Steel Cage matches are just escape only. You have Extreme Rules matches where you can use weapons, but it's still pinfall or KO. Elimination matches are good. When you go in here, you have your Tornado Tag. You have Triple Threat, Fatal 4-Way, and Handicap, all elimination matches, which is a good thing to do, because it's extensive. Now, new to the series, well, I mean, for at least this installment, you have Score Scramble, where you're using style, you're using counters to get more points to win. You're not necessarily concerned about actually pinning your opponent. So you have high score, or you can get as much points within a time limit. Also, what they added to the 3DS version was the Gauntlet mode, which lets you take on every wrestler in the whole entire game by yourself. And this is how you unlock most of the stuff. Hint, hint. Now, when you go to Path of Champions, which is pretty much your story mode, you have The Undertaker, the Dead Man. Now, you're going against him and trying to take his championship at SummerSlam. As for Randy Orton, and you're trying to take his WWE Championship, and of course the Tag Team Championship from D-Generation X. Each of these all have cutscenes. CG cutscenes is pretty good. They're kind of lengthy. Also, they have Fantasy Warfare, which takes different superstars from both the old generation and the new generation and combine them and see who's the greatest. And they actually show real shots of these wrestlers. So, for replay value, you have a lot of this, and it's going to take you a while to complete all this. And there's plenty of wrestlers to go through. Randy Orton, James Hank Roberts, Sergeant Slaughter versus Jack Swagger, Hogan and Cena, Macho Man and John Morrison, Jimmy Superfly Snuka versus Kane, The Rock versus Triple H. For example, let's try one.
Undisputed Championship. The most prestigious prize in the WWE. It is coveted by every superstar who has ever competed, but the Undisputed Championship has been held by precious few. The Rock, Triple H, they have both been undisputed champions, but who is the greater champion? That title is very much in dispute. Do you smell what The Rock is cooking? The people's champ, The Rock! A third-generation superstar, The Rock was destined for greatness. His Hall of Fame pedigree and superior athleticism sales champ spoke. Everyone listen. What the rock is
So, I mean, it has, you know, local multiplayer. There's no online at all. So if you do want to play with your friend, you actually have to have your own copy and your own 3DS to go with it. Also, you can make your own created character, which helps your replay value, but there's a problem. You can only use one created character. So you have these to do. The replay value actually extends it a lot, but it's not bad at all. So I have to give the replay value a 9 out of 10.
Alright, so WWE All-Stars wasn't that bad. It's your average wrestling game, but it's not necessarily designed to be a hardcore wrestling game. If you're looking for a hardcore wrestling game, you should try WWE 12 for the PlayStation 3, the Xbox 360, and the Nintendo Wii. It's meant to be a party game, multiplayer, something fun, something exciting, just for people to jump in and jump out, something to play on like the bus or a long cart ride. Now, I gave the graphics a 7 because some of the character models aren't consistent. Some characters models are better than the others. The gameplay, if it's going to be a kiddie game, you need to make it easy, accessible. You know, the counters should not be outstandingly difficult. Just some of the moves just don't really work. A lot of the high flying, there'd be a lot of glitches in the gameplay department. And your sound, I gave that a 9 because, you know, it had good commentary. Now, I don't think there's ever been a time where a wrestling game actually had commentary on a handheld, so it's groundbreaking. It's actually good. King and JR, but a lot of the times they call the wrong plays or start talking about stuff that has nothing to do with it. So I had to take off a point and it gets a 9. Also, when it comes to replay value, with 2 new game modes exclusive to the 3DS, and including all the DLC from the console is already included on the 3DS installment for free. You know, $20 cheaper for a $40 game, and you get all the DLC plus 2 exclusive game modes. So it is pretty good, but maybe online multiplayer could have done something about that. Maybe it could have got a 10, but it still gets a 9. So altogether, score man, let them know what we got. Why does he look like he got an attitude today? Scoreman, tell him what we got.
That's right, WWE All-Stars scores itself a 32 out of 40, which scores itself a C+. Not bad.
But, so, I don't know if you guys heard this or not, but Resident Evil Revelations, another demo, not the demo that comes with Resident Evil The Mercenaries, but an eShop demo is now available on the eShop. Download it, and maybe I'll make a video reviewing the demo. Alright, I am Knight2727. Thanks for watching.